Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just going to do a quick lesson on flat slide carbs for the ZX7R. So if you're a fan of the ZX7R, you're already aware that the flat slide carbs are very popular for this bike, and there are two types, and I have both types here. I have the Sudco racing carbs, the flat slides, the 41 millimeters, and I have the OEMs. They're not built up, that's why they're disassembled, but I just want you to see the differences and as to why a lot of people struggle with fitting the OEMs inside the stock airbox. So first thing, I'm going to get my flashlight on it, and if you notice here in the airbox, let me just zoom out real quick so you can see how I have this mocked up. So if you just come over here, you have the throttle cables that go there. This is a left pull, and as you can see, there are some clearance issues. So I can't get the carb to sit fully in the boot because of the clearance of the left pull. Now if you take a look at the Sudco carbs, it's a right side pull on this carb, so it's on the other side of the airbox. Second, even if I were to get that in, it'd be next to impossible to get to those screws because of the choke circuit. And as you can see, this is a choke circuit on the flat slides. It's a little rod that goes all the way across. So you may be able to manipulate it, but it will be very, very tight. It doesn't really work. I have it in there, and you're just damaging things. The clearance wouldn't be good at all once it's fully seated. It's not fully seated, so that's not going to work, obviously. The other difference, and I'm going to pull the carb out real quick. I'm going to turn this upside down for a minute. If you look under here, this is fixed. You can't really adjust these. You can't get a taller spigot on there to give you more clearance to tighten everything down. Whereas on the Sudco racing carbs, these unscrew. You can see that, and these are the stock ones over here. You can see I ordered the taller ones just to give me a little bit extra clearance on the airbox. So that's another reason why the Sudco carbs actually are probably the better option for your racing airbox. Now let's say you made a custom airbox and it didn't matter that you were trying to use the left pull for the stock carbs. Well, as you can see, these are carb boots that were for the ZX7RR or ZX750N model, the special homologated version back in '96. They're out of production, but I have about 10 of them. If you weren't going to use those, and let's say you made a custom airbox for this to fit, you're actually going to need kit parts. I'm going to walk over here to my workbench. I have some courtesy of, so let's say you wanted to run the OEM cards, you would need these kit clamps, which basically, pull that out so you can see, it would go across each cylinder like so, and then you would tighten it by rotating that little knob on the end. These are next to impossible to get. I just have one set courtesy of my buddy Chris Hunt, and you would also need these kit boots, which are different from the ones that come. And actually it's a softer material that will allow the kit clamp to screw it. You don't need that much torque on it. So that's why the OEM carbs are harder to get to work in the racing airbox, and most people opt for the Sudco carbs, like you see here. Sudco carbs, I think new, these are about $1,250. OEMs, I mean, if you can find them, I got these for, I want to say $400 or $600 a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. They usually go for around $800 or cheaper. But if you want these to work, you're gonna have to use a different style airbox. You won't be able to use this type. You'll most likely have to use the airbox style that covers this whole area, the whole, and you use the gas tank to seal it. Those will typically work better with the OEM airbox, those kit airbox. I'll see if I can find a picture of it online and post it in a future video. But yeah, if you guys are out there and want to build a 7, your best bet is to get the Sudco carbs, get the taller ZX7RR spigots, and see if you can get lucky and find the carb boots for the ZX7RR, part number 16065-1318. That's the trick setup. It'll work with the stock carb boots, but you definitely want to get these if you can, because of the correct diameter and the way the carb will sit in the boot. It'll be a lot easier to get out when it's time to pop the carbs off. So that's it. This was just a quick lesson on the 2 different types of carbs, OEM versus Sudco, and how you guys can get it to work in the airbox. The crank arrived to its destination for servicing, and it should be about a 2-week wait time for me to have it back in my possession, and then I'll get it squared away. And regarding the airbox, I got some bulb strip seal and got it on there, so this should seal up rather nicely when all is said and done. So going to be getting this engine built in 2 to 3 weeks, and get everything back together, have a running bike, and I'll probably start working on the chassis again soon. Reinstall the Penske shock and the forks. Might change the oil in the forks, but this bike doesn't have a lot of miles since the suspension's been built, so we'll see. So that's it for now for this quick 9-minute update. Hope you guys are enjoying this series on my ZX7 race bike build, and should be back soon in a week or so with another update. Thanks for watching, and take care.